What's going on, you guys? My name is Matt, and I want to welcome you to the 0 to 100K project, where I'm challenging myself to go from $0 to $100,000 a month in passive income. And I want to invite you to go on this journey with me and change your financial future forever. If that resonates with you, if that's something you want to do, go ahead and hit subscribe right now and like this video. It definitely helps out the algorithm. It helps more people see great content just like this. Before we get started, I want to thank Grape Finance for sponsoring this video. I'm going to be taking a look at their protocol and giving you guys my honest review and what I think and how I'm looking at this project and how I see the future of this project going. I also want to take a quick second to let you know that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing with you my ideas and my thoughts about the protocol, and it should never be taken as financial advice. Grape Finance started as a tomb fork on the Avalanche network. They launched January 13th of this year, and from that point on, they've been continuing to develop and grow their ecosystem, so they are much more than a tomb fork, but that's exactly how they started. Now with Grape Finance, the tokens you want to pay attention to are the Grape Token, the Wine Token, which is the reward token of the system, and then there's the liquidity pair token of Grape MIM. MIM is Magic Internet Money, which is a stable coin. Now, Grape is supposed to be pegged to MIM 1-to-1, right? But what do we see here? We see Grape is at 36 cents, so it's way off peg. So at first glance, you're probably thinking, I don't know about that, because if you know anything about tomb forks, then you know in order for them to print in the boardroom, their reward token, which in this case is wine, it needs to be on peg. This Grape token needs to be at $1, and it's at 36 cents. So if you look at the price of Grape, I'm going to go ahead and pull a timeline from when they launched, which was like January, let's call it 14th, over to this date right here. You can see this line right here is $1, right? So this is when Grape was above peg. This is when Grape was printing in the winery, producing wine, the reward token. Okay, so this was 170 days, give or take, minus a couple of days here and here, where it was below peg, but almost 100, let's call it 160 days to be safe. It was above peg and printing, and people made boatloads of money during that time. So I'm showing you some history so that we can kind of use that history to kind of build out our prediction for what we think is going to happen in the future. So now that it lost peg, you see that it lost peg here. You're seeing that it's at 36 cents. So it's well below peg. The team is currently innovating and creating new use cases for the Grape token. They're figuring out new ways and innovative ways to actually not only use Grape, but to burn Grape. The last I heard, which was from the devs about a week or 2 weeks ago, they had already burned 10% of the entire Grape supply. So over 600,000 Grape have already been burned in their new PEG health recovery campaign that's been going on. And for anyone who knows anything about burn mechanisms in these kind of protocols, it doesn't affect the price immediately. It's not like you're going to burn the token and then immediately the price is going to skyrocket. This takes time to play out. It's all about supply and demand. And when the supply goes down and the demand increases, well, that's what causes price to go up. So by step number one, by decreasing the supply of Grape, and then create a new use case for Grape that's going to make people want to get more involved, catch the vision of what these guys are doing. So here's how I'm looking at this. As an investor, I don't mind seeing red. I actually like seeing red because I'm always looking for underappreciated assets. I'm trying to buy into value that I can then later on, when that asset appreciates, I can sell the value that I bought at a low price. So I'm looking at this and I'm seeing, number one, I know that technical analysis doesn't always translate in DeFi projects, but I'm seeing this massive descending triangle here that's running out of room. And I'm seeing possibly that this could be like a double bottom here. And what I'm kind of looking for out of the Grape token is this going to come up out of this, retest this, and then go off to the races in terms of the Grape price? And then anyone who buys Grape at 36 cents could possibly be really loving life when it goes back above peg. So I'm kind of thinking about that and I'm examining this. I'm trying to stack a lot of evidence in the same direction to show me that maybe Grape is a good investment right now. Okay, so we're looking at the TA. We're seeing like the normal person would look at this and think, ooh, man, that doesn't look good. But I'm also factoring in the team. They've been a very respected team in DeFi for 8 or 9 months now. Now, to clarify, I'm currently not in the Grape Finance protocol, but I am looking at it and doing my own evaluation as to whether I'm going to get in. Now, the other thing that could happen in this kind of scenario would be more of a rounded bottom. So it could either break out of this in this fashion, because this price action is winding up, it's getting pent up, or it could kind of have more of a rounded bottom like this, all right, over time. That's a terrible drawing, but you get the idea. This could be more of a move like this, an accumulation, and then up the other side, right? Either way, it's possible, if you believe in the vision of Grape Finance, that this could be a very intriguing entry point. Now, I think what might have gotten Grape into this situation in the first place is the user base was taking profits on the Grape token rather than the wine token. I like to think about it like this. Grape is the seed and MIM is the soil. And when you take the seed and the soil and you put them together, then you produce the crop. And the way that you can do that is by going to the vineyard. And you scroll down, you can see you deposit Grape MIM LP in here to earn wine. Now remember, wine is the reward token. It's the fruit. It's the way that you can take profit in the ecosystem without hurting the ecosystem. And I get it. And I know that it's a solo sport and you can do whatever you want. And if you want to sell your grape, you're welcome to do that. But you have to understand that when you are selling grape, you're hurting the overall protocol. And if you're in the protocol, then you're actually hurting yourself. So it would be wise for you to take actions that support the overall health of the ecosystem, because it's only going to make you more profitable in the long run, right? So people who sell their seed instead of planting it to earn the crop, it doesn't really make sense long term if you believe in the protocol. Now, once you earn your wine, what you're supposed to do is go over to the winery or the boardroom, stake it in here, and you earn more grape. Now, you could also just sell your wine as a reward token, but if you stick it in here and earn more grape, then you can start to see how this could create an infinite money loop. However, remember, you have to be on peg for the boardroom to print, and right now we're at 36 cents. But let's say you want to build up your LP position of Grape MIM or even single asset grape. You could, number one, you could stake it right here and you could earn wine. But if you want to grow your position size, because if you just have a little bit of money and you're starting out, it's going to barely seem like the needle's moving. If you stake it right now, you're going to earn very little wine. So what you might consider doing is jumping over to the auto compound vaults that they have over here on magic.farm. So what you can do then is you can single stake your grape, and that's going to grow your grape position by auto compounding it. Every couple of hours, it's going to roll it over, roll it over, roll it over. And you guys know the power of compound interest. You can do the same thing with your Grape MIM, and you can literally grow your LP balance so that once it grows big enough, you can head back over to the farm, deposit it in here to earn wine, and you guys know the drill from there. Okay, so we talked about the vineyard, we talked about the winery, which is the boardroom, and they also have nodes. And I know right now they're in the middle of rolling out their V2 nodes. Nodes are just another use case for locking up grape, taking it off the market so that people don't just go on a selling spree with it, and you can earn more grape, or you can earn more Grape MIM or Grape Walrus. They also have a peg health campaign where they're encouraging healthy peg restoration. They're not just using the treasury to do buybacks, which can ultimately hurt the protocol long term. They're trying to build out use cases and incentives for people to use their grape, earn their grape, and be rewarded in the process. Now that we touched on all the basic elements of how Grape got started and what's available on a base level, let's look at how they've built out their ecosystem. So let's jump over to the wine press. The wine press is, you can think of it kind of like the EMP detonator. So instead of being able to stake Grape MIM and grow that LP pair, you're actually able to stake wine MIM and grow that pair, which I think that's pretty interesting. So whatever you deposit into the wine press, you're going to earn 350% back of whatever you put in. Of course, there are daily lottery prizes you can win, and it's gamified and all that good stuff. All right, let's jump over to the Winemaker. The Winemaker is a P2E NFT staking game that's sort of loosely based off the pizza game and other games like that. And it's yet another use case for grape. The idea behind the Winemaker is you have to mint an NFT of a vintner. A vintner is someone who tends the vines on a vineyard. And you mint this NFT, you mint it with either AVAX or grape. The grape that you mint it with is burned. And then inside of here, your vintner works for you and grows you another coin called Vintage. And inside of here, you can buy tools and skills using grape. So again, a whole nother game that is outside of the protocol, but uses the main token of the protocol, grape. And it does so in a fashion that if you want to keep leveling up your tools and your skills and help your vintner earn more vintage, you can do that by using grape. So I think this is a pretty cool way to do it. But you might be asking yourself, well, what do you want to do with this vintage token? Well, what they're doing is yet another infinite money loop they're providing for you. So what you could do is you could stake your vintner, right? That's the NFT that you mint, and it earns you vintage. Well, then you stake the vintage in the cellar and you earn S vintage. So if we go back to the Winemaker and you look at the cellar over here, you can stake all of your vintage in here, right? And that vintage is going to earn you S vintage. But you can stake your S vintage in the vineyard to earn wine. So let's go back. So now we have S vintage. let's go back over to the regular Grape Finance vineyard. And if we go down, you can see, oh, wow, single staking pools. I can stake my S vintage and I can earn wine. Okay, this is getting interesting. So we earn wine. You stake your wine in the winery and earn grape. Now, remember, this has to be on peg. This is the boardroom to earn you grape. But if it was, you could earn grape. You could take that grape. You can burn grape in the winemaker to recharge vintners. This is another aspect. If you go back to overview, these vintners, when they work for you, they actually get tired and exhausted, and you can recharge them by buying a recharge with your grape. So then they can wake up and they can earn you more vintage and create a loop that way. So you can recharge your vintners, which are going to earn you more vintage, and you can see how this creates a crazy cycle. And on top of that, they have another part of their protocol that they are teasing that's going to be coming out soon called Vinium, and I believe that's a lending protocol that's going to tie even more use case into grape and wine and the whole ecosystem. Now, you're probably noticing that most of this is dependent upon getting back to peg. So I think that's going to be probably their biggest challenge, is getting people to catch the vision, to understand why they wouldn't want to sell their grape. They don't want to sell their seed. Like every farmer knows, you don't sell your seed. You plant your seed and then you reap a harvest, right? That's the same thing with these tomb forks. Is if everybody took profits responsibly, like they want you to take profits, but if you take your profits in wine instead of grape, your chart's not going to look like this. This is everybody just freaking out and dumping their Grape token. I personally think that LB and the guys over at Grape are doing a good job. I don't think that they're relenting. I think that they're continuing to build. I've heard bear markets are for building, and these guys are no exception. They see a very bright future for Grape. They're doing AMAs every week, updating people on their progress, their new developments. I think they're doing a good job projecting and forecasting their vision for the project long term. That wraps up my video on Grape Finance. If you guys got value out of this and you found it super helpful, please hit the like button. It really helps me out. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It's my goal and my mission to help as many people as I possibly can reach their financial goals, become the person that they've always dreamt of becoming, and you are no exception. And I believe you can do it. You guys are awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.